So guys, today I'm going to bring you the best 11 free agents in every single position, that being a team of 11 that is. So if you're strapped for cash, you need some decent players, these are going to be for you. If you do enjoy the videos, smash the like button, be sure to subscribe as well, leave a little comment on your favourite FM player so far, and do come by the streams. We're live basically every single day. The link's going to be on the screen, but also it's twitch.tv/JoshDaily. Replace the A with the X in the daily. You've got to find me. But let's get in to the goalkeeper and let's get through it. So first up, and a little bit of bias, but one of the best goalkeepers in football of a previous day. Not maybe of recent times, but at some point he was the best goalkeeper in football. That is going to be DDG, David De Gea, the main man himself. This guy is available on the free. Now, in terms of goalkeepers go, this is by far the best option you have for a free agent. And I actually would argue he is still Premier League quality, still Champions League quality at the end of the day. Completely free. Obviously, I imagine he's going to want to go to a decent sort of team, but you are getting a goalkeeper who has got some very good attributes right from the rip. And considering he's free, the fact he's going to want between about 150 to 200,000 pounds a week, I would imagine, isn't that big of a deal because you are literally picking this lad up on the free. So you need a goalkeeper. Yours is not playing well. Get him. Honestly, you won't regret it. Up next at left back, and there was a better option. I believe it was Matthew, but he was literally ancient, and in my opinion, not worth getting. So we are going to go with Danny Rose. Obviously, previously played for Tottenham, Newcastle, Watford, some really big teams in there. We all know who Danny Rose is. Now, as a left back goes, he's actually not too bad, to be honest with you. Not going to cost that much to have at the club either. I would imagine between 30 to 50,000 pounds a week, and this guy actually still has got it. At the age of 33, he's not the quickest, so I will say that. I wouldn't have him as an attacking fullback, but in terms of rotation, for example, 15 tackling, 16 aggression, 16 bravery, decent work rate. He's not a bad option on the free. Now, is he going to win you a Premier League title? Probably not. Could he assist you by being a bench player in that team? Potentially. He's not honestly a bad option. In my opinion, if you've got a defensive left back you're trying to get in, you haven't got a lot of money or no money, you don't really need to worry about looking any further than Danny Rose. In my opinion, a good signing. Up next, the right back, it is going to be Vidal. Obviously, previously of Espanyol, Sevilla, Barcelona, Sevilla. Again, don't know why I said it twice. He's played majority of his career in Spain and for some very big teams indeed. And this guy, again, very solid at right back, and I would not turn my nose up at him either. I reckon he's similar to Danny Rose. Is going to be roughly around 30 to 50,000 pounds a week, that sort of spectrum, I would say. And what you're going to get is a very solid fullback, in my opinion. Now, if you are playing in the Spanish league, he might even be good enough for your first team, to be honest with you. He is 33, so, I mean, none of these players are going to be wonder kids, let's get that clear. But realistically, if you want a good first team or backup right back, he is a very good shout. And what you're going to get from this guy is a nice set of balance, I would say. He doesn't really stand out in anything, but he's good at everything. He's not incredible at everything, but he's good at everything is what I would say. Fairly average, but because it's all across the card, you can't really complain. And on the free, it's a good right-back option. Up next, and it is going to be a bit of a debatable one, but he has got a lot of experience at the age of 34 from Lyon, obviously Bayern. He has got Man City from his former days, but realistically, we all know him from Bayern Munich. Let's just be real. That's where we know Boateng from, and he is an absolute legend of the game. He really is. And the only thing that lets him down is going to be his pace. So I am going to say, if you are going to bring this guy in as a backup or somehow get him into your first team, make sure you play him alongside of a quick centre-back so he can literally be the one that is going to get bailed out. And I would recommend having him on the cover role as a ball-playing defender or simply a defender, because he definitely wants to be a little bit deeper because he can't really be running back as quickly as the others, as he has got 9 acceleration, 12 pace. But in terms of a centre-back, he's got good tackling, good passing, good composure, good jumping, and good strength. So if a ball gets in the box, he's going to be more than strong enough to clear it, but just chasing back, chasing balls in behind, he's not going to be the best at. But in terms of a freebie, you can't turn your nose up. And do you know what? I didn't even realise this. It's going to be a German centre-back partnership, as it is going to be Mustafi, previously of Schalke, Arsenal, Valencia, some really big teams in there indeed. And this guy is very similar to Boateng in the sense of he's very well balanced, and this guy actually has got a little bit more pace. 12 acceleration, 12 pace isn't horrific. You couldn't play these two at the back together, in my opinion. That's definitely not what I'm saying at all. But to be honest with you, this guy potentially could get in some teams, if not, again, be a very good backup option. He's got 16 aggression, 16 bravery, good work rate, good tackling, pretty much everything you want from a centre-back. Very similar to Boateng, but in my opinion, probably the better one of the two because he's a few years younger, he's a little bit quicker, got a little bit more about him, and obviously, to be honest, he could actually get into some of your teams, in my opinion. If you're playing a sort of a championship team along that level, definitely first team. Premier League, definitely a bench player to consider. And I can't see why you turn your nose up at this guy. He's only 31. You can probably get 2 to 3 years out of him on the free. Why not? The first sort of DM we're going to have is going to be a player that actually has got a contract in this, but he is going to expire very shortly. That is going to be Mark Burnell. Now, this is a player you're going to bring in purely for potential, because you can actually go up to 83 on that potential range, and he's valued at around about £40 million after he transfers club. Now, he is 16, so he's not going to be the best of the best player right away, but for a complete sort of, he's not technically a wonder kid, but for a player that has got a lot of potential and will by far easily be classed as a Premier League player by the time he's sort of 18, 19, you sort of need to get this guy on the free, because even if you get him, train him up, and then flog him at the end of it, you're easily going to get between 40 to 50 million pounds, and that could fund a better player, or you could keep him and develop him into your teams. But from a starting point, he is not the best of the best, to be honest with you, but it is a great option to have if you're willing to prepare for the future. Alongside of him, we have got one of my favourite players, mainly because of FIFA. I really enjoyed using him on there. He is going to be, he's played for every Serie A club at this point, I think. That is going to be Raja Nainggolan, the Belgian midfielder. Again, he is definitely a little bit older, and I would recommend possibly the max you're going to get from him is 2 years on the free before he's obviously got to retire. But he does offer some things. Now, the one thing he doesn't offer is pace. He's quite slow in the midfield, so I would recommend having him definitely on a sort of ball-winning midfielder role, on defend, just sitting in front of the back four, putting in some challenges, because he has got some good stats with that. So he's got good work rate, he's got decent tackling, he's got good long shots, to be fair, 20 determination, so he's still got it at the age of 35, he's got good bravery and the aggression. I will warn you, this guy does love a booking, so definitely don't have tackle harder on, because he is going to bang every single time a red card for fun. But for a pretty well-rounded midfield player who has got tons of experience on the free, I think this is a good shout. Right, has somebody got a time machine out? Because up next it is going to be Hatem Ben Arfa, an absolute icon. One of them players the streets, as they say, will never forget. He is now 36 years of age, but he is going to be, by quite some distance, be the best free agent at the start of the game in attack and midfield. And you know what? This guy still has got a lot to offer. As a lot of these players have, they're not going to be the quickest players. Obviously, 10 acceleration, 10 pace. But in terms of everything else, 16 dribbling, decent finishing, good first touch, very good passing, good technique, good flair. He essentially has got everything he used to have, but now he has got no pace. So if you play this guy in a system which is very possession orientated, it's going to be okay, because he's very good at sort of picking up the ball with a great first touch, passing it side to side, but he's not going to be a player that, for example, in my opinion, he's useless at shadow striker, because he's got no pace to run at anyone, but he can be a player that can sort of just float in the midfield at a slow pace, like a Luka Modric sort of vibe, but a bit more attacking. And I do honestly think if you need a player to sort of fill a gap for a year, perfect option in my opinion. So let me know if you're going to consider any of these, by the way. But this is a player, if I'm strapped for a player, I need someone for backup in that position, I wouldn't say no to this guy. But it was going to be Ziyech, but obviously I believe he's now permanently at Galatasaray. But this is going to be Jesse Lingard instead. Now this guy, I know he gets memed a lot, I do understand that. But do you know what? He can play on the left, he can play on the right, he can play in the middle, and he's still got a little bit about him. He's still got a little bit of pace in him. He's only 30, which is quite young for a sort of free agent list. You can sort of get 3 to 4 years out of him quite easily. He's got great fitness, great off the ball, great teamwork, and these are the stats I'm really looking at. He's got good dribbling, good finishing, and decent passing, so really, he can play anywhere on the field in terms of what's highlighted here. In my opinion, he would probably be best either in the middle to use them passing stats and really, cause some issues through central areas, but also, especially in this team, because, we're putting him out on the wing, he can play on the wing as well. He's still quick enough, and playing him as a sort of like an inside forward, tell him to sit narrower, almost be like a central attacker midfielder, but a little bit pushed out to the left. I think you can honestly still get some good results with this guy, and considering he's going to be on the free, I don't think it's too bad of a signing. I don't know if that's because he played for United. I'm a little bit biased, maybe, but this is a sort of player who I think has still got, in real life I'm talking about, he's still got one more move. Do you think this guy would do well at West Ham again? Let me know in the comments. I don't know if I'm being delusional here, but I still think there's a player in Jesse Lingard. Am I crazy? And up next is going to be a very well-known player. That is going to be Javier Pastore. Now, this guy has played for PSG, he's played for Roma, he's played for some absolute giants in world football. And the sort of last couple of players can play anywhere on this front three. So that is why we've not, some of them aren't dedicated wingers, but they can play there. But they are the best players in those positions, nevertheless. Now, this guy is 34, so again, max 2-season job. But realistically, you are getting a fantastic player here if you play him in the middle. I don't think he can play out on the wide, although it says he can. He's way too slow in my opinion. But through the middle, I mean, look at this guy's stats. Some of these stats you pay mega money for. 19 technique, 16 passing, 18 first touch, 16 dribbling, 18 flair, great vision, good teamwork. I mean, the list goes on. If you play him through the middle in one of these roles, you're going to be laughing because although he's 34, he's not the quickest. It is what it is. He still has so much to offer in that midfield role. So if you can afford him, in terms of the wage that is, because I reckon he will be a sort of 100k, 150, maybe not that much actually, 70 to 100k I would imagine, because he is quite a high caliber player. Definitely get this guy, guys, because sometimes the age, although it's old, you still can get really good performances out of them for a year or two. Right, and lastly for the striker, it's going to get a bit complicated because there's so many different players, and I technically haven't picked the best one because if you're going off the rating, then that's not going to be strictly true. But in terms of what he actually offers, I'm going to go with Theo Walcott, but I am also going to say some other names. The other one is going to be Nikola Saric, and also you've got the likes of Ruben Castro, but he is 42, Ruben Castro, and Saric has got... He's very slow, and he's got one less finishing than Walcott. So in my opinion, he's not as good. So I'm going to go with Theo Walcott to finish off that striker position. Obviously, iconic at Arsenal, maybe not as iconic at Everton, but, he played there as well. And he has still got something about him. He's still quite quick, 14 acceleration, 14 pace, good work rate, 11 finishings okay, composure's okay. Is he going to be a title-winning striker? No, definitely not. Can he come on, maybe cause a few tricks here and there? Potentially. You never know. So at the end of the day, I think this is going to be the best option to have up front because he also can help you cover on the left-hand side, but he has also got the stats to get a goal. Maybe. Potentially. It's a bit of an iffy one, the striker. There's not like endless options in terms of free agents, but I have reeled off a couple of options extra just in case you don't like Walcott. But that is going to give you guys the best 11 free agents for you guys to pick up in your saves. My favourite, David De Gea, I think is an absolute steal. But if you guys have enjoyed today's video, please do leave a like, drop a little subscription, and turn on notifications, and I'll see you boys in the next one. If you guys did enjoy today's video, here are going to be a couple more videos I'm sure you're going to love. Down here, you're going to see my previous video, and here is going to be a video I personally recommend for you guys to check out. Trust me, you're going to love it.